Hey everyone, Brian from Bible Traders here. It is Sunday, June 13th. I hope everyone's had a great weekend. And yeah, this is Sunday night, so this is the time we look through the charts, see how things traded last week, and look ahead and try to figure out where things might be going from here. And I think the biggest event that's probably going to happen this week is we've got that two-day Fed meeting with a statement from the Fed that'll happen probably on Wednesday. And we'll hear from them as to what the latest thinking is on inflation, whether they're going to keep participating in buying up the treasuries, expanding the balance sheet, or if they're going to start to let kind of back off on that. It's certainly keeping interest rates, a lid on interest rates, so it's going to be interesting to see what their stand is on that. But let's break away here and take a look at some charts and figure out where we're going next week. Okay, so speaking of the Federal Reserve and the balance sheet, I just thought I'd throw this up here. Kind of an interesting graph. You can see here how the Fed balance sheet really expanded during the COVID crisis at the beginning, and now we did get a bit of a pullback there. And you can see here what's been happening ever since, just a constant increase. Fed's just constantly in there buying treasuries and supporting the market and keeping the interest rates low. So it'll be interesting to see if this continues, if they can really continue to do this, or if there's going to be some statement on this coming week about whether they may start to buy or back off some of this just because of some of the inflation concerns that are out there. They certainly don't seem to be concerned about inflation, but a lot of people are talking about it. And a big debate about whether it's transitory or if it's longer. It's a longer-term trend. Anyway, this is the quick interlude where I promote my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade. If you haven't checked it out, this is the quick advertisement in the middle here. So let's get on with it and look at some charts. As always, I'd like to start out with the TLT. This is the 20-year Treasury bond. Again, you can see prices are going up on the treasuries. That means interest rates are dropping, which is what we'll see in the next chart here. And you can see here really starting to break down. We just lost this 1.6 level-ish after that CPI number came out, much to a lot of people's surprise. That hot number actually usually you would have expected it to go up. When you get rising inflation, you typically get higher interest rates, but we went the opposite way. So certainly that was good for a number of sectors, which we'll be discussing here shortly, but you can see here we really are starting to break down. And that's obviously going to be good for the growth stocks, and we shall see that shortly here. So the transports, again, you can see here, we have really started to see some weakness in the transports. And as always, look at this because sometimes it can be a sort of predictor of where the rest of the market is going, particularly the Dow. But we did lose this 50 moving average on Thursday. We did come back Friday to touch it, but we're still below it. So it'll be interesting to see where this one goes next week. Again, here's the weekly, definitely losing support here. The Dow, it's a couple of indecision candles on the week, Thursday and Friday, and you can see here a down day on the week overall, and not great volume. Really, the prior week was a shortened work week or a short week, trading week. So this is a very low volume candle here, and yeah, you can see. RSI kind of rolling over here. We're losing a little bit of momentum to the upside. So probably a little bit more choppiness next week. I don't expect to be a breakout on the Dow, but you never know, or a breakdown for that matter. The Qs, again, as I mentioned earlier, this was certainly the beneficiary of these dropping interest rates. You can see here Thursday, Friday, we had a couple nice moves both days, and money rotated back into the tech sector, the growth sector with the dropping interest rates. And you can see here on the week, we're just right back up testing all-time highs here, up 1.68% on the week. The SPY, again, making an all-time high, breaking out. Again, had a pretty Yeah, indecision day Thursday, not a bad day, not a bad day Friday on the rest of the week, and the SPY again, still trend is your friend, and it hasn't even come back down and tested this 20 moving average since February, so we're still trending higher, probably way overbought still, but the trend is still your friend, and it's still looking like we're going higher. IWM, small caps, again, this is tried to break out to a new high here, failed, pulled back. Again, I suspect we're going to chop sideways here. Volume was pretty light on Friday. Let's see what it looks like on the week. On a week, we had average volume. Again, pushing up to challenge those new highs after consolidating for a fairly long time. A couple of since the beginning of February, we've been sort of chopping sideways here, so threatening to break out of this trading range here. RSI looking strong, stochastics turning up, MACD looks like it's going to turn positive. We've got the histogram starting to slope up. So we'll be watching that for a breakout next week or another top. The dollar, again, broke out, or basically consolidated after this massive downtrend, and it looks like we're starting to break higher. Momentum indicators are indicating that we're heading back up again, which is a little bit strange as well. With the interest rates dropping, you would think the value of the dollar would drop, but again, this is a bit of a topsy-turvy world here. So here's the VIX. Again, no fear in the market, no concerns obviously about a big sell-off coming. So again, I think we're looking like we're going to be going sideways here. Here's Bitcoin. Like to look at Bitcoin because a lot of people are trading this, investing in it. You've got 35,000 looks like as an area where we've had some significant support, a little bit of a false breakdown here. But again, this is a bit of a trading range right now here. So if we can break out of 40,000, 42, this 200-day moving average, 4250, 42,500 looks like an area where you might see some more resistance like we got here. And certainly Bitcoin does tend to trade off of technicals for lack of a real fundamental assessment or analysis. Let's take a look at the sectors here. So SPY, again, breaking out, all-time high. Discretionaries are coming back up here, had some pretty good days Thursday, Friday. Interest rates continue to drop. I'd watch this for a continuation move higher. Obviously, communications and the technology sector looking strong, and again, lower interest rates will drive these higher. Some of the growth stocks, like you'll find in the industrials, maybe struggle a little bit as money rotates out of there back into the growth. Materials again and energy might be a little bit challenged next week with rising dollar, strength in the dollar. Staples probably consolidating in a range here. Same with trying to push out of this XLV healthcare sector pullback, and we'll be kind of keeping an eye on that one because money did rotate back in there. And the utilities, seems like they've put in a bit of a double bottom here. Maybe we're going to come back up. Financials will be struggling a little bit. I did notice that in some of the financials on Thursday, especially Goldman Sachs. Bank of America selling off. Again, the interest rates, if interest rates are dropping, this sector is going to be challenged. You can see here, has interest rates climbed, the financial sector did well, and I think we're going to go the other way if interest rates start to drop again. So let's take a quick look at some stocks I'm going to be watching next week. Airbnb, really like this one. It's one of the travel sector stocks that's gotten beaten up. It's not trading quite as high as some of the other ones, like the airlines and the cruise lines. So watching this one for a breakout this time of 150, that would be great. We can break out from there. BTX, I'm kind of watching this one here. It's again, I've got an alert set. We can get back over this This descending 20 moving average, I'll be considering it for a long again, but right now it's pretty weak and volume is pretty light. And stochastics are heading lower, so not particularly keen on this one in case I get an alert. CCIV, like the action over the last week or two. Nice breakout. We've had a typical breakout from some areas of prior resistance. This is quite often what happens. You get this breakout move, we get a pullback, and that gives you an opportunity to take an entry around 25. So I'll be looking for CCIV to hold the 25 area and then start to move up higher. You can see here on this pullback, volume was dropping off. So I'll be watching for strength in CCIV next week. Again, if interest rates drop, that certainly will help those kinds of stocks as well. Again, lots of inflation, as I talked about earlier, in the food sector, and this DBC agriculture commodity index has certainly been, after this nice run, which we caught here, bit of a pullback, and now it's looking like it might go higher. So I'll be looking at that one, possibly getting back in there. Fastly, here's another one, another breakout, pullback, and watching for a move higher on Monday. Again, interest rate sensitive. This pullback here was on lower volume, so maybe we'll get a nice move back up here on Fastly. Gold, and this is one I'm actually in, and I'm not really keen on it. We had an inside day Friday, and again, if we get a stronger dollar, this is not going to, gold and silver aren't going to do particularly well. Laser is what looking at earlier, but it's looking a little choppy after I thought it might be breaking out here. This could be another check back, pull back, check back here. So again, if we use 23 as a stop, then maybe we'll get a nice move higher on next week. Pen looks like it's trying to break out here, or it's making an effort to break out. I would say got an alert set around 85, so I'll be looking for a breakout there. Playboy, I'm just watching this one. If it does lose this 41 level, I'll be looking for it to break down further, maybe down to 35. So potentially could be a short here. Plug, again, looking good. It's trying to hold on to this 200-day moving average, stay above it. And again, this is alternative energy plays. I think are looking pretty good. TAN looking, again, an alternative energy play, looking like it's going to break out here through 80. Trip, again, this gets back to the reopening and travel sector story. Again, has had a pretty decent pullback, so lots of room for the upside for Trip. And the dollar, or the oil, I'm looking at this one in the context of, maybe we're going to get a bit of a pullback here. But it's hard to say. We've got two forces working against each other. We've got a rising dollar, which should push the oil price lower, but then on the other hand, you've got a recovering economy, which should push the demand higher. So this is going to be an interesting one to watch to see how that resolves. And X, actually, I did take a position on X. I am back in X here as we're starting to break out here again. So again, this is infrastructure, and it looks like it may add to the position if we can get and hold through 29, because we've got probably some decent upside. If we look at the monthly chart, yeah, you can see here we've got definitely an area around 36 where the 200-day or 200-month moving average is here. So this is looking very, very strong. All right, well, let's wrap things up. Let's take a look at how the markets are looking right now. You can see here the Dow is up marginally, the S&P 500 up marginally. Pretty much across the board, every index is up or flat. Russell is flat right now. NASDAQ up just a little bit here. See how some of the commodities are doing. You can see here gold's pretty flat. Same with silver's down a little bit here, almost 0.73%. Oil flat, natural gas and gas overall kind of flat. So everything's kind of flat right now. Nothing changed really here on the treasuries yet. So again, this is going to be an interesting week with the Fed minutes. I think a lot of people are going to be waiting with bated breath to hear what they have to say about their position and the inflation situation, which is really starting to heat up here. And we've also got some economic data coming out early in the week. Producer price index, some information on how inflation is filtering through on the producer level. So again, that's probably going to reinforce the fact that we've got some pretty significant inflation in the economy right now. So that's it, everybody. I hope you've had a good weekend, as I said. And again, we'll be kicking off the pre-market show at 8 o'clock with engineering, the markets by Jared, and then 8:30 live on YouTube. Both of them actually live on YouTube. We'll be going through the pre-market show, looking at stocks in play, and of course trading the market open when the bell rings at 9:30. So hopefully see one of those events, and we'll have a great rest of the weekend. What's left of it. We'll see you in the morning.